Broadcasting live from Morelia, Mexico. I'm Bill the Geek. Welcome. Happy Valentine's Day. This is the Bill Dallas Lewis channel, and we get together every Saturday morning and answer questions and take comments about the joys of living in Mexico. And sometimes we make a video here and there. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I hope you and your loved ones had a good time yesterday. We celebrate Valentine's Day down here in Mexico, just like they do in the United States on the same day. Let me say some hellos real quick here to looky here. Rockport Conch. Oh, and if this is your first time here, be sure to introduce yourself. Where are you? What is the weather like? That's kind of interesting. Down here, it's another beautiful day. When I got up this morning, it was 46 degrees. Now it's about 64 degrees. The sky is partly cloudy. It'll probably get up to about 75 degrees today. This is February. Sometimes I have to tell myself it's February. Yeah, it's February. I'm talking to you, Charles Williams. I'm saying it's February, man. I'm down, and look at me. I think about a month ago, I had on 3 hoodies. I only have on 1 hoodie and a short and a shirt, and I only have on 2 pairs of socks. All my windows are open. There's a breeze blowing through here. The weather is great. It's another great day in Morelia, and you can hear the taco guy going by. And I'm going to get this Rockport Conch. He's I went to the Butterfly Place, the city. I guess that was a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to put up a video on the butterfly segment of that this week. But I tell you, to get up to see there's a couple of ways to go up to see the butterflies, but the way that I went, it was a 1-hour steep uphill walk. And I didn't know you can take the horse up for $8, take you like 15 minutes to get up, and then you can walk back downhill for sure. Charles Williams is saying, happy Valentine. I can't get Thanksgiving out of my mind. Ola Char, running is my medicine, directly from Morelia. Yes, Michoacan, Bill the Geek, that would be me. Crapo, Dr. John. Good morning from a gray, dreary day in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Dr. John, probably my first subscriber. We always welcome you. He used to be in sunny New Jersey. Now he's with his family in Lancaster County. And we got Tanya from Seattle, Washington. Happy to see you here again, Tanya. And look, Miss Trevino is in the house. Buenos dias. I'm back after a long trip to India for my niece's wedding. Good. You go, girl. We got all these world travelers showing up. Jamie in Montreal. I want to reach you and pick your... Oh, Char, okay. Can Bill give... okay, so answer that, Char. Yeah, I talked with Jamie yesterday on the phone. My neighbor, David. Ola, David. David also in Morelia with his wife, Maria. There you go. Ola, everyone from snowy Montreal. And we got Mary Jane in the house. Rick James made that song about her jamming. I'm in love with Mary Jane. Okay, I got a bunch of stuff on my list this morning. Again, if you're new, This is your first time here. This is your show. If this is your first time here this Saturday, I always have a bunch of video clips, and I do have video clips to share with you today, as always. And if nobody has any comments or questions about moving to Mexico, I do show the clips. But if you're new here, introduce yourself. Think about clicking that subscribe button. We try to be informative here and answer your questions. And my other Morelia neighbor is Tooth Fairy is in the house. She lives right down. I don't know. She's got to live within 10 blocks. And I got to take her up on that vegan breakfast. As long as you have some bacon, some nice, if I could go over there for breakfast, for a vegan breakfast, as long as you have some nice greasy bacon with that vegan stuff, maybe some ham hocks, and some more, just so I got to throw some grease on that vegetarian stuff to make it taste good. Hello from Concho, Arizona, Mr. Chapman. Great to see you in the house. Thanks for introducing yourself. Feliz San Valentin todos. Tooth Fairies. And Tooth Fairy, she's picking up more Spanish every week. Good morning, Brian, pretty boy maiden in the house. Bill all in the house this morning, and happy Valentine's. Very cold. Cold, Brian, you got to get out of there, man. Get out. Escape the madness. And thank you for sharing that joy with us, Brian. Good morning from Lenora Wilson. Good morning. I can't wait to get there to sunny Mexico, 23 days away. Come on down. I've been down here a long time. I love it down here. If you're new here, I love I'm the main thing. I wish I could put that song on, but it's copyrighted. You know what I'm talking about, though. Robert. Hola, Robert. Hold on a second. Always great to see you, Bill. Robert in Baja Norte. Robert, great to see you here, my man. Char. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Char and Jamie. And Jamie, if I don't shoot you an email, give me about 24 hours to shoot you the email with Char's. Oh, for in this group, it's the people that are in this group, it's a very loving and sharing group. And a lot of times people want to talk to one another. And many of these people in the group now have talked to one another via phone, via email, via WhatsApp. But before I share information from anyone in the group, I always have to get their permission. That's the president of my company, the president of the Bill Dallas Lewis channel, the main chief, the director of everything. I got to run everything through him to justify any actions that happen on this channel. And the main director of this group is me. Ha, 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 ha. So if you want to talk to anybody in the group, just, let me know and I'll get their approval and I'll hook you all up. David, I think we may be in your area later tonight. Okay, right on, man. David tells me a lot of stuff. He's right here. Even before I moved to Morelia, David called me on the phone. Where was I living? I forget. Oh, I was living in Mazatlan. Lake Show. It's how's the humidity where you live at worst time of year? Let me say this. Okay, I was living and Lake Show 1966. Thanks. First of all, thanks for asking. Okay. I've been in Morelia for 8 months now. And prior to Morelia, I was in Mazatlan, which is on the beach on the west coast, north of Puerto Vallarta. And I came to visit Morelia on August 25th, about 3 years ago from Mazatlan. In Mazatlan, it was hot and humid as hell on August 25th of that year. It was about 3 years ago. So let me tell you, I came to Morelia. I got a hotel about 10 blocks from El Centro. It wasn't the best hotel, but it was cheap. And I got up early at 7:30 to go shoot videos. And I got my cameras and the drone, walked outside on August 25th. And it was chilly here in Morelia. It was chilly. I had to go back into the hotel and put on 2 or 3 hoodies because it was chilly on August 25th. But by 11 o'clock, everything was warmed up and it was a beautiful day. So to answer your question, in Morelia, the humidity is minimal. I moved here from Mazatlan. I arrived here on like around the end of June of last year. And I got this apartment. I moved in July 2nd. I have never experienced any unbearable heat or humidity like Mazatlan. Though I live up on a hill, I have great ventilation going through my place. I love this weather. And I lived in Chapala, Ajijic for 3 years, as well as Guadalajara. All three of those places have fantastic climates. And I think that this climate is better than those climates. Okay. Tooth Fairy rapping back. We got Michelle. Good morning, Michelle. Michelle is another Morelia convert in the house. Had breakfast with Michelle it's been about 2 months. Now she has moved here, and I hope you are enjoying your stay in Morelia. Reggie. Hello, Bill. Just returned to Laguna Beach from Cholula, Mexico City, Guanajuato, San Miguel de Allende, and Guadalajara. And Reggie, I've heard good things about Cholula. Someone told me that I must go there. I've been to Guanajuato. Right now, Guanajuato is my favorite city. Years ago, I was in San Miguel de Allende, and yes, I lived in Guadalajara. It was cool, but I don't think I would live there again. Hey, see people get in here, start talking. Shout out. Austin, Texas. Hola, Austin, Texas. And for what it's worth, Mexico, the owner and director of Mexico Relocation Guide, that's Mariana. She lives in Austin, Texas. And thank you so much, Reggie, for contributing to the channel so I can travel, buy equipment, and make all of this happen every week. You're very welcome, Lake Show. Axel Foley in the house. Good morning, everyone. It's cold, dark, nasty, icy, and snow up here in the Poconos. Who told you, Axel Foley, to go to the Poconos? Other than that movie Dirty Dancing was in the Poconos, but they weren't shooting that in the wintertime. Even Patrick Swayze, who dances his butt off, he don't go to the Poconos, even though he died. That was a great movie, but you don't see them dancing. They're doing no dirty dancing in the wintertime in the Poconos. That's just freaking crazy. I'm going to tell you that right now. And Verlaine. Good morning, Verlaine. Are you still in Canada? Because Verlaine was living in La Paz for a long time, and I don't know why she went back to Canada, but anyway, just this morning, the Mexico Relocation Guide put out a newsletter that said that La Paz was the best place to live in Mexico. And I remember I did a couple of interviews with Verlaine, and I remember before the interview, we did that interview in the summertime, and it was hotter than hell in La Paz. It was hotter than hell in Mazatlan, and how the Mexican Relocation Guide could come out and say that La Paz is the best place to live in Mexico. They must be taking acid or snorting some heavy fentanyl to back that story up. Brian Maiden's talking now. Since all that SH has been happening between USA and Mexico, have you seen any difference between Mexican people and people from the USA? And Brian, that is an excellent question. It's on my it's on my list of things to talk about. So let's get right down to it. Let me say this. Mexican people have always treated me great. And even with stuff that's going on between Mexico and the United States right now, I'm going to say, I'm trying to come up with a statistic here. I'm going to say that 95% of my interactions with Mexican this week have been extremely on the up, positive, love giving. And I haven't seen any changes in attitudes towards me. And Dave, you can say something. He's here in Morelia. Tooth Fairy's here. And I think that they would tell you that the Mexicans are always loving. Now, on my list of things to talk about today is there are grouchy Mexicans. But I rarely run into them, and it's like anywhere you go. But I'm going to say every once in a while, about once every 2 weeks, I run into a grouchy American. I don't know. Maybe they have hemorrhoids or something. They haven't heard about Preparation H, perhaps. And I ran into one. Yeah, I ran into one. Oh, I ran into a cranky Mexican yesterday at the grocery store who was checking me out. But other than that, all the Mexicans still, as of this week and last week, are still as loving and as joyful as they have ever been. Wayne, what's up, Wayne? Morning, Chi-Town. Wayne is back. In El Centro, Morelia. Wayne, last time you left a message for me, you had some girlfriend. You was driving a car all over Mexico. We got to hear about that. We might have to interview you. I got to hear that. Cholula has the largest pyramid in the world. Cholula was fantastic. I got to put that on my list. Have you been to Paracho where they make the guitars? Yes, Wayne. I made 2 videos about Paracho just about 2 months ago. I go through the city of Paracho. I go into guitar shops and just go back about 2 months into my videos, and you can see those wonderful presentations. Hey, man, I hope you have a fan. The heat is coming. I got a fan in my window right now. Michelle. I met with Rosie last week. She told me to let you know that Cielo, oh no. Oh man, that's just messed up. That's really messed up. Well, first of all, Rosie is like right now, Jamie in Montreal, he's working with Rosie. And she's helping him get his visa with no financial papers. If you need help with immigration or finding an apartment in the Morelia area or Pátzcuaro, you can find all of Rosie's contact information at buildthegeek.org. Just go to FAQs, buildthegeek.org, not .com, buildthegeek.org. Click on FAQs, and you'll see Rosie. It's the second link from the top of the page. There she has her website, email, phone number. She can help you out. But I'm very sad to hear Cielo Cocina Fusion is permanently closed. What a drag. Thank you very much. I love that place. I've been there in fact, me and Michelle had breakfast there. What a drag. Good morning from Cincinnati, Bill. Ooh, well, Shirley, welcome, and I hope all is good and fine in Cincinnati. If you go to my group's Facebook page, what's that called? It's called Living in Mexico, Expats in Mexico. There's a link in the description below. I just put a video up about the Nazis walking through Cincinnati just last week. Whatever, but good morning, Shirley. Great to see you here. Ola Brian, I don't see any difference. There you go. They're all still their beautiful, loving, and kind selves. Okay. My wife and I were in PV in November, and we loved it, but no, the humidity is horrendous in the summer months. Needless to say, I want out the MAGA. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I lived in PV for 10 years. And it's the weather there is a lot like Mazatlan. But in the summer months, yes, it was unbearable. And everywhere that I lived in PV for 10 years, I had great air conditioning. And for my last 5 years, I lived in a place where electricity was included in my rent, so I didn't have to pay electricity. And in the summer months, I would put on a winter coat, crank that sucker up. I'd be in there freezing. It would be like 105 degrees humidity, people walking around the streets sweating. I had two-way mirror windows looking outside. I could see the people sweating and passing out in the street, but I was up in my apartment with free electricity and with a winter coat on. There you go. All the a-holes I have ran into have been gringos. I didn't say it. That's David, my neighbor. Okay, Brian Miller, is it feasible to seek political asylum in Mexico? The USA has lost its mind. I don't know. That's an extremely good question. Let me take a screenshot of that. That is a very good question. Now, before we move along, yeah, and enough said about what's going on in the United States. All you got to do is, I watch the Midas Touch almost every day. And I did want to say that I had my chakras checked this week. I have a mystic in Ajijic, Meredith Ann Murray. I've done a couple of interviews with her. She's a fabulous mystic, and she visits me about once every 8 to 9 weeks and cleans up my chakras. Okay. And my chakras were cool through October of 2024. But then in October, they got all wacky. And I think what it was is I paid too much attention to the elections in the United States. And I filled myself with a bunch of hate and anger, and it blew my chakras all out. But lately, I've kind of backed away. I still keep up on the news, but I fill myself with peace a lot more meditation, more walking, less anger. And Meredith Ann Murray came to visit me with my chakras. And when she do that? Thursday of this week, and all my chakras were all clean and good to go. She didn't even have to fix anything. Yeah, man, whatever. Yeah, Rosie does rock. I love Rosie, but I don't know where I'm going to go to breakfast anymore now. I think people are people, Bill, but the nature and culture in Mexico is full of humanity, kindness, and love. I don't love at individuals. I look of the nature of the people on a whole. Yes, very good, Tooth Fairy. What a wonderful perspective that is. Yes. Lawhoff 95 in the house. We haven't seen you for some time. Ola from Houston. Hope all is well with everyone. Good news. I now have my permanente residencial. I will be visiting Morelia in April, May to look around. Come on down, girl. Drop me a line. Hopefully I can find a new breakfast place where we can hook up and shoot the crap. Right on. Okay. Maryland Peoples. I'm thinking no political asylum in Mexico, but if you qualify financially, you can get residency. And let me say, if you have visited Mexico in the past, there are ways to get in without showing pretty much zero financials, but that's only if you have visited Mexico in the past and you have documentation. Let's see now. I've invested. Possibly doable, especially if you are marginalized. Very interesting. Barry Joe Bailey. Ola Barry Joe. Hello, Bill. I'm currently in California visiting family. I am a temporary resident of Mexico. Well, welcome. Thank you for updating us on your status, and we're glad to see you. Have a great time. I lived in the Bay Area for 5 years, and I loved it. The place was just a little too expensive to me. The whole experience was like that Gladys Knight song. LA was just too much for the man. So I had the guy. California's expensive. Okay, I do have video clips today. I'm going to start out with this mystery video clip. Okay, now I have many things on my list to talk about. I have many video clips to share with you. But a few of these video clips kind of came together strangely. Now, I'm finding they're in my neighborhood, and Tooth Fairy will tell you this. David will tell you this. All over Morelia, there are all kinds of meat markets, fish markets, vegetable markets. I mean, and they're just little teeny tiny places, not the big grocery stores. Sure, they have all the big grocery stores. So I can walk about 4 blocks away from where I live, and between 2 or 3 places, I can get everything that I need, and everything's very inexpensive. And I'm going to call them Ma and Pa family shops. But I've just been going to my main grocery store that I love very much. It's called La Comer. And I get everything there because it's easy. It may be more expensive, but I go to one place, get all the stuff I want. And every day, before, I was just going to it's called La Comer. Before, I was going to this place like maybe once, twice a week. Then I'd go to my other little places. But to get back to where I live, I have to walk up a considerable hill, okay? I can do it. I walk 5 miles a day, 5 days a week, but I don't like walking up this hill. So I go to now I'm going to La Comer every day. I go there every day, and it costs me $1.50 to get back up to here in my apartment with the groceries. $1.50 in DD. So I do that every day, and I calculated that out. That cost me about $45 a month. Okay, that's what I do. So I'm just saying that, but in my way, walking to La Comer or walking back, I've been going by what I'm going to. I'm going to show you something that I've been seeing for about 8 months, and it's been a mystery to me. Here it is. The taxi pretty much always takes me back this way. And this is like a 5-minute drive from La Comer. And if you look straight ahead in the video, there's this big tunnel. There it is. I mean, and there's an OXXO. There's an OXXO right here on the corner. Sometimes I go to OXXO. But I've seen this tunnel almost 1,000 times by now. And I was wondering, well, where does the tunnel go? And there's always a lot of cars going in and out of the tunnel. Always a lot of, I was wondering, can you walk through the tunnel? If you walk through the tunnel, then what happens? And then I go to La Comer. And here's the parking lot. Let me turn that off. You're going to see the sign for La Comer very briefly here in a second. Here I go. So this is where I go. La Comer. They got a cinema over there, you know. Oh, they got an Applebee's. But way up there on the mountain, look at those high rises way up there on the mountain. I've been thinking, what is that? Who lives way up there in those high rises? And here's a zoom shot. There it is. Notice the McDonald's. I've never been to the McDonald's. I probably will never go to the McDonald's. But they have an Applebee's and Chili's in this place. But I'm going to turn that off, turn it back on. Oh, okay. So you can see, it's really hard to see, but in the middle of the screen, you can see it says Sears. So I could see it was like a mall or something like that. And David, my neighbor who lives in Morelia, says, Bill, you need to get out and walk around more. I'm going to turn that off, turn it back on again. But notice below those high rises, there aren't any roads. You don't see one road on the side of the hill, across the hill, no roads. So this is where okay, now. So one day last week, I was leaving. And I was in DD. I was in my DD taxi, and I had a wonderful taxi driver in DD. Her name was Cynthia, and Cynthia was hot, you know. But she was super friendly, and so we were pulling out of the parking lot of La Comer, and I said, Cynthia, what is that up there? What are those things? Oh, she said, it's great up there. You go up there, they have a great view of the city. They have many restaurants and plazas. And if you go out there at nighttime, it's even more pretty because you can see the lights all over town. They have a great mall up there. This was all in Spanish, she told me. So that convinced me to go up there. And I was up there, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. How did I get there? The name of that community is called Alto Zona. Alto Zona. So I'm going to say in Spanish that would mean high zone. High zone. So I get a DD, and here we go. I'm going to Alto Zona. Here we go. we're going there, and it's like going to a totally different world. This doesn't look anything like the Morelia that I live in. This looks like you're almost driving through Pennsylvania. I mean, and what you're looking at now has to be like 2 miles from where I live. And it's twisty and turny. And I mean, look at this. This is 2 miles from where I live. I mean, you don't even see any buildings, and that's because all of this is on the other side of that tunnel. This is the other side of the tunnel, but look at all of the traffic. Well, you know, it's not like New York City traffic, but there's a fair amount. And then we go through the tunnel. Here we go. Woo, we're going to go through the tunnel. And once we come out of the tunnel, also, it was good to note that they have sidewalks on both sides of the tunnel. See, and look at the billboards in the tunnel. Who can look at those if you're driving through the tunnel? Who looks at those? Who puts up advertising there? I want to know. Tell me. But this is the tunnel going to the other side of Morelia. The other side of Morelia. And it's a different world. It was a beautiful world. But again, I'm going to say what you're looking at now is about 3 miles from where I live. And we're going to go visit this place in a second. And if you're new here and you haven't seen where I live, here's where I live here. Look at this. This is where I live. This is what I see when I look out of my windows. Sure. But after we go through the tunnel, yeah, all we have to do is go through. Oh, there are 2 tunnels, actually. There are actually 2 tunnels. Notice this one has no advertising inside. But after you go through 2 tunnels and it looks like you're driving through Pennsylvania, all of a sudden we end up at this huge mall. And I'm going to take you inside of this. They call it a plaza. It's more like a mall, if you ask me. They have a Sanborns up here. Sanborns. I'm going to say Sanborns is all over Mexico. It's like old time Woolworths. They have, if you're my age and you used to go to Woolworths with your grandma and you go up to the counter and you have a nice breakfast or a nice lunch, that's the way Sanborns is. Sanborns is like a combination of Sears and Woolworths all in one. They're all over Mexico. They have really nice, I'm going to call it down home eating places to eat. Up there, they also had like Sears. They had a mall in there. It was vast. Here's what it looked like partially inside. This was one of the nicest malls I have visited in my entire life. Now, I'm up here. It's about 10:30 in the morning. This is a 3-story mall. And maybe I don't get out enough, but in my total lifetime, I have never seen a mall that had auto dealerships. This has a Toyota auto dealership, a Geely auto dealership, a Honda auto dealership, and then they had all kinds of really cool artwork around the mall, like these fingers sticking up out of the ground with a butterfly on top. And look at the cars. How do you test drive these cars? I want to know that too. Notice the Monarch butterfly on the fingertip there. This, I mean, I've been to the United States in a hell of a long time, but you got Honda Monarcha. Now, that's funny. That means like Monarch Honda. Look, and sure, you can walk through the mall. You can buy some clothes, eat some good food, buy a car. I mean, this was a phenomenal place. They did have a grocery store there also. And Tooth Fairy or David, tell me if you've been to the grocery store up here. It's called Chateau something. It's a freaky deaky grocery store. I'm going back again, and I'm going to take videos inside the grocery store. It's kind of a very large Greenwich Village grocery store. And again, this is this is Tuesday or Wednesday around 10 to 10:30 in the morning, so you don't see a lot of people. My taxi driver told me that prime time to visit this place was in the early evening. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, now here we go. Kia. They had a Kia dealership in here. And these cars are just, there's Kia, Toyota. I mean, maybe I don't get out much. Maybe I just don't get, I've never been to any mall in Mexico where they have car dealerships like this. And they had, and soon, I got to make note where I am now. Soon I'm going to show you the views from up here. Those aren't real dogs. Those aren't real dogs. That's artwork. They have a lot of artwork up here. And the blue man, the blue man right there is not really a man. That's a statue sitting there. I don't want to confuse anybody. But that was, I went and then I met this dude named, what was this guy's name? Alfred. And they have all these parking lot attendants out there. And Alfred, I talked to him before I went in for like 20 minutes. And Alfred was a Mexican, and he had lived in Chicago for 3 years. He'd lived all over Chicago. His English was pretty good. And he wanted me to remember his name. He says, my name is Alfred. And he said, like Batman, Alfred and Batman. I said, oh, yeah. And we talked about Chicago. And and talking about, do Mexicans still like Americans after what's been going on? And Alfred, the Mexican in the parking lot, he loved the United States. He wants to go back there again. And now we're friends. He says, well, we are friends now. Also, on my way back, I have some more clips. On my way back from the mall, and it was like a $2.50 ride. It was less than $2.50 to get my groceries, come back home. But I had a driver on the way back. His name was Jesus. And me and Jesus were talking all in Spanish. And I'm going to tell you, I take a taxi every day. Sometimes the taxi drivers don't say anything. Sometimes they will talk your ear off. So this guy, Jesus, ends up, he was in a band. He played clarinet. He was in a jazz band. He played clarinet, saxophone. Sometimes he played piano. He was 28 years old. And the first instrument I ever played was the clarinet. I was first clarinet in our band at Franklin Heights High School in Columbus, Ohio. I played saxophone in the jazz band, and to this day, I play jazz flute. So he told me, this is on the way back from this is on the way back from this fabulous mall plaza. He says, oh, if you like jazz, you got to go to a place. It's called Nameless. Nameless is in El Centro. Nameless in El Centro. He said they really have jazz. They really good jazz. They start playing about at 9 or 10 p.m. Nameless, Jesus. But the information that I pick up from Taxi Driver has just been fabulous. So, of course, you have to get on the escalator. Sure. I think there are like 3 stories of shops, all kinds of restaurants, Japanese. You can go to Domino's. I didn't see a McDonald's. And if I did see one, I wouldn't go there anyway. I stay away from chemical foods because I'm just so healthy. Look at me. Okay. So, so Alfred in the parking lot, he said, there's a view in there. You got to go in there and see the view. And in Spanish, that's a mirador. Okay. And so some cleaning guy in the mall, I said, hey, dude, in Spanish. I said, hey, dude, where's the view? Where's the mirador in here in Spanish? And the guy, he had a broom and a mop with him. And he came up. He says, oh, come with me. And he took me. He walked me to the first mirador. Then he was just smiling. He says, there it is. You can see it all. Then he walked me to the second mirador. The guy was totally friendly, totally helpful. And I'm going to say something that I shouldn't say, but the guy had no front teeth. He was a happy man with no front teeth, and he just treated me great. He wanted to make sure that I saw the view. And so now I'm walking to the view, and it was quite astounding. Yes, I do want to share with you the joys of living in Mexico, but there are many joys. This is one of the views right here. And the guy with no teeth, he said, I said, this is the view. And he said, well, there's another view, but this is just one view. Now, I live right down the hill from that view. I got to write down where I was here. We'll go down here, write this down, and let's come back. Let's go over to comments and see what is going on in the, now let me say this. To find this place, it's called, just look for Sears. This is what I did, because when I'm at La Comer, I look up the mountain and I can see Sears up there in front of those, behind those 2 buildings. So I looked up Sears, and they have several Sears in Morelia. So you just want to find the Sears that is in Alto Zona. The name of that community is called Alto Zona. I'm going to say that means high zone. High zone, Alto Zona. And if you can find Alto Zona, you get a taxi up there. And when I was taking the taxi there, I asked the taxi driver, well, what's up here? What's up here? And then I was meeting people up there, and I was saying, hey, is this where the rich people live? and most of them were saying, yeah, this is where the rich people live. So whatever. They're Alto Zona. Okay, so let me back up here. I'm missing a lot of stuff. Backed up. Here we go. J Bland 83. Yep, cruise ships don't count as visiting for residency. Okay, I didn't know that, but I wouldn't think that. You're on a cruise ship. Tooth Fairy Brian, I heard that Mexico and Canada give political asylum. If you're black, you can seek political asylum from Mexico. I was thinking of doing that a couple of years ago. Very good. Cool. Good to know. Paige. Hi, Paige. How are you doing? I talked with Paige, called me, asked me a bunch of questions. We talked for about an hour. And she called me on WhatsApp. Paige, I want to know who is the chick in your WhatsApp thumbnail. Now, Law Hoff 95. Hey, Bill, I think April, May can get pretty hot in Morelia. Does your apartment have air conditioning? Mini split, I guess, is what is common in Mexico. Now, Dave, who's in the room right now, he's lived here, I think, like 3 or 4 years. He told me last month that he was going to get he was buying an air conditioning, and he was saying it's getting ready to get hot. So I'm here. I got 2 big windows, one in the front, one in the back. I got a fan in my window right now. I was here in July of last year, and it never seemed unbearably hot. Dave, but I live up on a hill. Maybe I'm just lucky to live up on this hill. La Comare, great Maryland peoples. I'm going to La Comare. I urge everybody to go La Comare. It's the bomb. Paige, I just paid, oh my God, $7.99 for 18 eggs in South Carolina. And yes, I watched the Midas Touch. And for you guys that watch the Midas Touch, Ben Moradas, something like that. He's one of the leaders. He lives in L.A. In L.A., a dozen eggs are up to like $11.99. And I went to La Comare and I took pictures of eggs last week. And here in Morelia, La Comare is probably an expensive place to buy eggs. Here in La Comare, you can get a dozen eggs for $1.96. And if you go to the Ma and Pa places, I bet you can get a dozen eggs for like $1.50. I bet. Guillermo. Hola, Guillermo. That's my name in Spanish. Guillermo, Mamo, Brian Miller, in the house. Bill, you ever thought about a gas or electric scooter bike? No, never. And I had a friend, he had a motorcycle. And somebody ran a light and hit him, and it broke his leg in 17 places. I had a friend in Puerto Vallarta. A family ran a light in Puerto Vallarta, hit my friend, and they had to cut off his leg from above the knee down. Cars, motorcycles, and bikes are 3 different things. And when a car hits a motorcycle, a bike, or an electric scooter, you are effed. No, I'm never doing that. No, No, there you go with that. Dr. John, yes, tunnels remind me of driving through Allegheny Mountains in Pennsylvania. And I tell you what, Dr. John, many a time I drove from Columbus or Cincinnati, Ohio, to visit my parents in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Oh, and we would always go through the hills of Pennsylvania or West Virginia. It's one of the most beautiful drives in the world. We got Brian Miller contributing to the channel. Thank you so much. Let's see who I missed. I know I missed some. We got Reggie contributed to the channel. Brian Miller, thank and bless you for contributing to the channel. Crapple. Dr. John, thank you very much, Doc, contributing to the channel. Yeah. Hi, Bill, my fellow Buckeye, planning my trip. Come on down. Don't wait. Curious about the apartment situation. Pricing of the Alto Zona. Yeah, me too. I asked 4 or 5 people, is it expensive to live up here? And one taxi driver said, well, I think that 2 or 3 other people said yes. So, but I was just in the mall. And the next time, and then I asked the taxi driver, I said, well, what's down there, like right below the mall, really close, like a half mile, a quarter mile from the mall, there's other high rises and business. So the next time I go there, I'm going to shoot videos of that environment and ask people. Okay, now, David, I haven't been in the grocery store, but I've been in that mall several times. Really? It's pretty close to our house. Cool beans, David. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here one more time. Right on. Angela, great to have you in the house. And let's see what's going on over here. Okay, let's see what's going on over there. We do love America. The concept is a very wonderful thing. Kimberly, sorry I'm late to the live. Where is the mall? Kimberly, where is the mall? Okay, we're going to go back, not too far, but we're going to go back just a bit in the mall. Kimberly, who I believe is in San Miguel Allende, from where I live, if I'm at La Comer, the grocery store, there is the mall. And you can probably see this mall from El Centro. It's up on the hill on the east side of El Centro. And I live on this hill. I believe Tooth Fairy lives on this hill. And the name of the place is Alto Zona. Alto Zona. Okay, I gotta scroll back here. Oh, because we got a bunch of. Oh, sorry. Also, Kimberly, I'm going to email you because I'm thinking about coming to San Miguel Allende, and I'm wondering if maybe you could give me a tour. Lex Jones, jazz in Morelia, sound great. A few years back, I saw a ripping blues band in Mexico City, and Lex Jones, I got to say, my dad was a jazz freak, and I remember before I was 5 years old, he had albums on the stereo. He was listening to Sonny Stitt and all these old time jazz dudes. And he came to visit me in Puerto Vallarta, and they had a jazz club in Puerto Vallarta. This is about 15 years ago, and I took my dad to this, and this jazz band blew my dad away. I mean, my dad was blown away in Puerto Vallarta by these Mexican jazz artists. And my dad, whose Spanish sucked, after the gig, he went up to him and he said, how you learn to play jazz like that? He was blown the freak away. Oh, Mexico has some excellent jazz artists. Crypto OG, my daughter Sophia loves your show and wants to move to Mexico. Well, my daughter Sophia, come on down, girl. Glad to be of service. I have not been to that mall. Next week I will go. And of course, Tooth Fairy, you're going to have to pay me a finder's fee. If you go to the mall and you love it, you got to give me a finder's fee. You know, like you got to find a White Castle somewhere in White Castle is my favorite restaurant, and you got to give me some White Castles. Okay, now, David, there is a lot of money in that area. I am surprised that Sears still exists, especially outside the United States. Yeah, Sears is all over Mexico, as well as Woolworths. You will find Woolworths all over Mexico. I've been there. It's beautiful. Yes, sir. Kimberly, wow. This in Morelia. Didn't know Morelia was like this. I'm telling you, man, Bill the Geek don't play. If Bill the Geek goes somewhere, that's where it's happening. If Bill the Geek lives somewhere, that's because it is the place on the planet to live. I ain't just gonna live in like Compton, something like that. No, if you're in Columbus, Ohio, no. Morelia is the bomb. And then people actually still ask me, I'll be doing this broadcast and people will ask me, they'll ask me, where in Mexico should I live? What? I mean, what? I've been here 20 years. I live in Morelia. What, you think that, you think I just picked the worst place in the world to live and moved there after living in like 10, 15 places in Mexico, visiting hundreds of Mexico cities I've visited, been here 20 years. What, you just think I want to live in the crappiest place on the planet? I live in Morelia because this is the best. I mean, Puerto Vallarta, Ajijic, Chapala, Guadalajara, Mazatlan, El Arenal. Then I visited all the. I've been to San Miguel Allende. Whatever. Now, good deal. I've made a note of the Jazz Club, nameless. Such great tips about Morelia. Enjoy the trip to the mall. Thank you so much, and thank you. Have to support Bill the tour guide. Thank you so much for contributing to the channel, Cassie Davis. $45 a month cab fees is cheaper than owning and maintaining a car. That I was thinking the same thing, because I walk everywhere, and where I live, all the people on my street, they own cars. I live in a Mexican community, and I walk everywhere, get the taxi back. And I've been noticing as I walk around, in fact, last week I started documenting how many cars I see that have dents and scratches. There's a lady right a block away from where I live. She has like a brand new white car. I can't remember the name of her car. But then last week, you could see she got sideswiped, and this brand new car is all messed up on one side. And I'm thinking, I don't need to worry about that. I don't have to worry about insurance, auto theft. I take the bus on my long trips. David, I had AC installed in our bedroom about 2 weeks ago. I've lived here for 3 years without it. Very good. Bill, Brian, Pretty Boy Maiden. Bill, that motorcycle accident, where was that? The first guy that had his leg broken in 17 places was in Columbus, Ohio. The second place where the guy had his leg removed from above the knee down, that was in Puerto Vallarta. Okay, now, Cassie Davis, thank you, Bill. I enjoyed seeing your trips. Cassie Davis, my pleasure. Thank you for contributing to the channel. Vlad K., they said give her something expensive for Valentine's, so I gave her that's funny. So I gave her a dozen eggs. That is hilarious. Ken Art, and if I'm not mistaken, you're in the LA area. I'm glad your house didn't burn down. As always, thank you so much for contributing to the channel. Let's go back here. Here we go. Is the bird flu an issue in Mexico? To my knowledge, no. But I did have a question on my list of questions. On the news in the United States, they're saying the flu in the United States is an issue. The measles in Texas are growing rapidly, and COVID is on the return. That's just what they're saying on the news. Now, Tooth Fairy's talking. Bill, I live on the 5th floor of my apartment. I'm surrounded with 6 glass doors. I have a big standing fan. All my doors are open, and I'm in your boat. It's nice and cool up here. I don't need. In July, I never even thought of air conditioning. Mary Jane, were you wearing your spyglassing? Were you using your spyglassing when shooting these videos? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Running is mine. What's the most bizarre incident that you've experienced while living in Michoacan? The most bizarre? Every day in Michoacan. Yeah, I mean, every day. I mean, it's like David lives. I mean, I go to these small towns, and every day is a bizarre experience in Mexico. The culture is so different. The animals, the insects, the weather, the people. Every day is a bizarre. There's a bizarre incident every day, and when it's crazy. That's all I can say. But it's crazy in a good way. I see stuff every day I would never. Oh, I tell you what. Well, something that. Oh, okay. Okay. This may not be specific to Michoacan, but what freaks me out a lot is when I'll see a pickup truck with like 15 people in the back standing up. That cracks me up. I see that every day. Pickup truck with 15 people standing up in the back. Or when I see one of those little motorcycles, a little motorcycle with like you got mom and dad and their 3 kids on the motorcycle. You got like 5 people on the motorcycle. Hey man, that's one of the joys of living in Mexico. Yeah, whatever. Hola, Chris. Haven't seen you in forever. Chris from Jalisco, Guanajuato travels and adventures in the house. Great to see you. He is a character from Michigan living in the Chapala area. Vlad, what do Mexicans? Oh, now this is funny. This is funny. Because I just read this morning that Claudia Scheinbaum is considering suing Google for that name change. And I've had no conversations with any Mexicans, taxi drivers. Yeah, that's just some bizarre crap. But nobody said anything to me, so I have no clue. I live on the flat, Billy. My colonia is Avenue Universidad Aplicación Frenes. I have to look that up. Maryland Peoples, perhaps an interview with a potential Alto Zona realtor. Okay, thank you very much. Brian Maiden, you make my Saturday, you make me laugh. You're the Brian, pretty boy Maiden, thank you so much, as always, for contributing to the channel. Mary Jane, oh yeah, White Castle. Crystal, hey, in the South, yummy. Woo. Oh, when I was talking to Alfred, the Mexican guy in the parking lot, because they have White Castles in Chicago. I have been to White Castles in Chicago. And I just wish that White Castle would open up down here in Mexico. Why not? Why not? Somebody just gave me a donation through the internet. Let's see who it was. Who was it? I think that is Shar Williams, just donated to the channel. I want to thank you so much, Char, for donating to the channel. Kimberly, hi, Bill. I'm still in the States. I grew up in Sonora, then moved back to the States. Okay. I am moving back to Mexico this December, considering Merida and now Morelia. Okay. Oh, girl. Okay. Right on. David. Not only is Sears still in Mexico, it's an upscale department store, nicer than the U.S. And for you people that are coming to Mexico, you're going to do some shopping at the mall. There's a place called Liverpool, which is all over Mexico. It's fabulous. Running is my medicine. The most bizarre is the kindness of the people. Oh, that's cool. I forgot about that, Tooth Fairy. Thank you. I pay $400 for cars a month. It's ridiculous. I had a car for 12 years down here. I paid a yearly rate. The yearly rate was $400 a year. $400 a year. A year. Yeah, Mexico is pretty hard on a car. Did you know D.H. Lawrence lived in Chapala on Zaragoza near the Malecon? Yes. In fact, he wrote a book staying at that hotel there. I don't remember the name. Beautiful hotel, but I did know that. And I have pictures of the hotel. Liston Henry in the house. Ola Liston, great to see you show up with us today. Billy, are you too tall for the combis? I use the combis to everywhere. It costs me less money. Yeah. I'm gonna, that's my next tip. There you go. How most Mexican highways and roads aren't equipped for scooters and motorbikes. Don't try that in Ajijic. Okay. Or Yuapan, Michoacan, back in, I was visiting. 50 gunshots. Yeah. It happens. Whatever. They didn't get you, so it must be okay. It happened outside of McDonald's. Okay. My grandma lives a few blocks from McDonald's in Uruapan. Okay. Is the small tiangi that small tiangi that was down the street from you still open once? Yes. In fact, Law Hoff 95, the small tiangi, and tiangi, for those of you that don't know, it's like a street fair. They have them all throughout Mexico. But this one, I can see it from my window. They do it every Friday. And I can see it because on this street, they put yellow tarps covering the street for about 6 or 7 blocks. And they open like 7 o'clock in the morning every Friday. I walked through there yesterday morning. Have you visited Tequiscuapan? I don't think so. Now, hey, man, I've seen as many as 4 people. Yeah, it's a trip. It's funny. Okay, running. If you live in America, you will see all the bizarre you can see. Since anywhere you live in America is bizarre. That's hilarious. Since Mexico doesn't have a Second Amendment. Ooh, Tooth Fairy just got deep. Oh, I never thought of it like that, Tooth Fairy. Oh, she said that so eloquently also. Yeah, man. But let me look at my list here. I don't want to miss anything, and okay. I have a big tip for anybody that is on Social Security. I've many more things to share with you, but if you receive a Social Security check, most people that do that get it through direct deposit. So one thing that you want to make sure that you do is check. And if you move, you might come down here, get an apartment here, get an apartment there, move here, move there. Whenever you move, make sure the first thing you do is contact Social Security and give them your new address, because Social Security, they have a form they send to you. It's called the 7162 form. It's called the 7162 form. And on that, they will ask you 3 questions. They ask you, have you been married since you filled out this last form? Have you been married? Have you been divorced? Have you had children? Those are the 3 questions. You sign it, you send it in. The thing is that this thing is sent out randomly to anyone that receives Social Security. So if you move and Social Security doesn't have your updated address, then they can't send you the form. Thus, if they can't send you the form, you don't even know you got it, then they cut off your Social Security check. They'll send it out 2 times. So what you want to do, if you move to Mexico, contact Social Security, let them know so that they can send you the form. Secondly, if you're living in Mexico and you're receiving this check, and you move from one apartment or one house, make sure that you call Social Security and let them know that you've moved. And then after you call Social Security and let them know that you've moved, call them 1 week later to see if they actually changed your address in the database. Because you might call them and tell them your new address, and they don't put it in. So a year goes by, you think that you're okay, you're waiting on the form, and the person on the other side of the phone didn't put it in. So if you change your address with Social Security over the phone, call them back a week later to see if they actually updated the information. My last thing I'm going to say about Social Security is, when is the best time to contact Social Security on the phone? You can find their 1-800 number on the internet. Just look, SSI phone number. It'll be on page 1 of Google. So the best time to call them is at 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. If you call them at 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, you're going to get a message that says wait time is at about 30 minutes. Be happy if you hear that message. If you wait until about noon, you're going to get a message that says your wait time is more than 120 minutes. And if you get that message, it is the kiss of death. Now, I just wanted to let you all know, if you're getting that Social Security check, keep your address up to date. Also, if something happens and if you don't receive the form 7162, if you don't receive the form 7162 and you do get cut off, your consulate here in Mexico can help you get turned back on. And I have heard that many times, if you're having an issue with Social Security, that your consulate, wherever it is, the American consulate in Mexico, things can happen much faster and more efficiently through them. Okay, now let's get back here. Oh, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. Dude, I lived in Belmont for 5 years, and I used to work. I used to work every day. I used to take Caltran to 250 Montgomery Street, and I worked in that building for 5 years. That building is owned by the Lemby family, right next to Stanford. What a beautiful place. Palo Alto. Oh, my second wife she got her PhD internship at Stanford. America's the most dangerous city in the world since they shoot indiscriminately. Since I've been to Mexico about 5 to 6 times, but have no paperwork on this matter. Would I have problems moving to Mexico without showing my financial details? Oh, Brian. Okay, Brian. This is an excellent question. You've been to Mexico 5 or 6 times. Anytime you are ready to get your papers all together so you can move down here, contact Rosie. And the sooner you do it, the better. You were talking about coming down to visit this month or next month. You're in Canada. Jamie is in Canada. Jamie in Montreal contacted Rosie. He's meeting with her next week, and she is hooking him up with that program where you show hardly any financials. So contact Rosie. Come down as soon as you can. Go to buildageek.org. Go to FAQs. A couple of paragraphs down, you'll find Rosie. Contact her. Get an appointment with her. Tell her your needs like Jamie did, and you are the perfect person to get into that program where you show zero financials. You will be good to go. Shirley in Cincinnati, I have SS disability. How can I get it in Mexico? Good luck with that. I have no idea. Ken Art, since it came to light that previous inflation number was inaccurate, is an actual lot higher. Is there any way that Social Security can correct the amount of increase that we were given? I don't think so. Not unless Congress does something. Surely I'm afraid Trump or Musk. Let me say this about Trump, Musk, and SSI. I was told yesterday by a Canadian. I have a Canadian that I talk to on the phone occasionally. And before the election, he told me that Donald Trump was going to win the election like a couple of days before the election. And I told him, no way. I mean, I've been watching all the news shows. No way Donald Trump's going to win. And this Canadian told me Donald Trump, he says, I don't mean badly by it, but I think Donald Trump's going to win. I thought the guy was crazy. 2 days later, Donald Trump wins the election. Okay, now, so I talked to this guy, this Canadian, recently, and I told him that I wanted to talk Social Security, make sure everything was okay in case they cut the program back, and then because, whatever. And he said, well, I really don't think they're ever going to stop Social Security in the United States. So from what this Canadian guy who has been correct in the past about United States policy, he's saying he doesn't think that the United States is going to cut Social Security anytime soon. But I've heard some people say that in 5 or 6 years, it may be another story. So who knows? So whatever. Rocky. I currently live in Ontario, Canada, and we're expecting 20s of snow over the weekend. Good for you. Put those skis on and Rocky, go out and have a good time. Johnny, sorry for being late. I was deep in yoga. Very good for you. Sent you some pesos. Thank you. Let me look over here and check my email. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. Johnny Williams, thank you so much for sending me $20. Thank you for contributing to the channel, Johnny. Thank you so much. And another thing is stay healthy. Start young, exercise, do yoga. Do yoga. Do yoga. Do something for your body 5 days a week. There you go. Oh, you're very welcome, Brian. I'm wanting to sell everything and move to Mexico, but wife is skeptical. Also, moving there is harder now due to financial restrictions now in place. Yeah. Char Williams is in the house. She's in Pennsylvania in the United States. Last week, she joins us every week. Last week, she was just getting rid of all her stuff before she moves down here. Jamie in Montreal, he's moving down here. He's getting rid of his house. He's coming down here with minimal stuff. I came to Mexico 20 years ago with a 1 suitcase and a hard drive computer. If I have to leave this place today, all I have to do is pack up. There's 3 suitcases and a hard drive and a backpack. Come on down, figure out the financial stuff. And many people, I have people that I've interviewed in the United States. One couple is Rudy and Sheila. Rudy and Sheila, they're black. They're my age. They live in Mazatlan, and Sheila was watching my videos. And her husband, Rudy, he sure as hell didn't want to move to Mexico. Here's the last thing Rudy wanted to do. And Sheila told him, and they're wonderful people. Sheila told him, watch Bill's videos. Watch Bill's videos. He watched my videos. He came down here. Now he loves Mexico, and he goes back to the United States for medical care like once every 3 months, 3 or 4 months. And whenever he goes back to the United States, he is so unhappy. He can't wait to get back to Mazatlan. So yeah, many people are skeptical, and you can't change their minds as long as they don't visit. But Mexico is the bomb. Good luck with your wife. Oh, and let me say this also. Again, I've been here 20 years. And I used to tell all my friends, all my family, you ought to move. Mexico's fantastic. I gave up. I tell you people that are listening now, but I gave up. People don't understand. Bill, I use an address on the States. I'm scared to mess that up because they may panic and cut me off. That's a good idea. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a Tooth Fairy. Tooth Fairy, you are so full. I never thought of that. I just heard Trump was lobbying to get rid of the IRS. Just I've heard that. They want to call it the External Revenue Service. Whatever. Maryland Peoples, how do I contribute to the channel? Tell you what, in the chat box where you see all the people's names and everything, at the bottom of the chat box, there should be a little $sign. Just click the $sign and put in a contribution. Or in the description below, Maryland Peoples, in the description above where you see my video, you have to scroll down to like 4 or 5 paragraphs, and in big bold letters it says donate to the channel, and you click that link and you click that, and it takes you into a PayPal environment. But you don't have to use PayPal. You can use Visa, MasterCard, American Express, PayPal, or Discover Card. Thank you for asking. Ken Art, they have stopped giving, oh my God. Oh, yeah. They have stopped giving Social Security to dead people. Lots of dead people and criminals get Social Security that are not entitled. Yes, and that's what Form 7162, the form that I get, it's a random form sent out to but they're just checking to see if you are still alive. Yes, thank you, sir. It's Trump's world. Anything, everything is on the table. I'm 73 years young. God bless you, Johnny Williams. And just for the heck of it, I've been watching a bunch of, and last week I told you guys, I've been watching this channel on YouTube. It's called the Y Files, WHY, next word, FILES. And it's a freaky channel, man. I mean, it's all real historical, freaky stuff. I was watching one of their videos last night about the Dark Pyramid that is supposedly located under all these, under all the snow in Alaska. Freaky story. But one story they had on one time is about how humans used to live for 1,000 years at a time. Hey, I watch that kind of stuff, but, exercising, doing that yoga, keeping your head positive can put a lot of good years on you, can give you more life. Vlad K, how do you make a living up there? Okay. Okay, long story very short. My name is Bill the Geek because I've been a computer geek all of my life. I was the only guy in my typing class in high school. There are like 30 women in my typing class. I was the only guy. I got a D in typing, so I dropped it because I was a straight A student, but I did learn the basics. When I worked for Dun & Bradstreet, I used to make my own animated cartoons out of Play-Doh with a G.I. Joe and a Super 8 movie camera. When I worked for Dun & Bradstreet, that's when the compact computers were coming out. They were about the size of a sewing machine. I was their number 2 salesperson nationally in new business sales out of 600 people. When this compact computer came to our office, I learned how to use it so that I could type my proposals, put it in the printer, get it to my clients, and make money to get me to be the number 2 new business salesperson in the country. That's why they call me Bill the Geek. Then I wrote and illustrated children's books. I was one of the first author illustrators in history to use the computer to make illustrations for children's books and self-publish. So I learned all this computer stuff. Then I started consulting. Then I started teaching people online. I was one of the first people on the planet before Zoom, before all what we're doing now, I was one of the first people to do this. And I had clients all over the world. I was teaching them Photoshop, Illustrator, Dreamweaver, HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript. I was teaching one-on-one. I could see their computers. They could see my computers. I teach them this stuff. They pay me my money at the end of the session via PayPal. I started making money like this 20 years ago. I learned search engine optimization. I would come up number 1 in the world for learn Photoshop in your home or office, learn Dreamweaver in your home or office. On Craigslist, I was making money like mad. So I moved to Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, and I worked online teaching people computer graphics, internet code, website development code. I did that for like 10, 12 years. Then I got sick of talking to people. I mean, the money was great. Back then, I was charging $35 an hour. 20 years ago, that's like $1 million an hour in Mexico. Then I upped that to $45 an hour. But then I got sick of talking to people. I didn't want to talk to people anymore. So then what I did was I started writing books for Amazon. I wrote how-to books and romantic books and even erotica on Amazon. And I did that for about 5 years under pen names. So I made money like that on Amazon. Then I switched over to YouTube because writing books on Amazon is a pain in the butt for any book you come up with. There's another million books out there by somebody. Plus grammar. You have to worry about grammar and all that. And if you're writing romance novels and erotica is all about having sex. I mean, yeah, I was having to think about how many ways can people have sex. I mean, it's okay for like your first 4 months, but after 6 months, a year, figuring out who's going to have sex with who and what they're going to do and all that kind of stuff, it gets old after a while. So between teaching online, writing Amazon books, so I've been doing online stuff, and that's how I got to Mexico. Yeah, you can work online. There's all kinds. To this day, there are thousands of online jobs out there, and you can move to Mexico. You can be 95 years old and work online in Mexico. There you go. He makes a living by traveling and uploading educational videos, and running is my medicine. That's exactly right. It's making YouTube videos is I love Mexico. I'm a geek. I've taught video editing for 30 years. I've been teaching video editing, Adobe Premiere, Camtasia Studio. I've been making videos. I got my master's degree in 1981. My master's degree was a video editing project at The Ohio State University. So at this point in my life, I love Mexico. I love traveling in Mexico. I know how to do search engine optimization so I can get my videos to the top of YouTube. Hey, yeah. So, whatever. Retired life, love your energy, Louisa and Michael here. I think I was looking at one of your videos yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, yeah, we got to get together and talk. That's why I should wear my glasses. Thank you. Okay. Danielle Garcia, all the world. Don't use Gulf of America. In the world, still Golfo de Mexico. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. That's just, it doesn't deserve conversation. Ray Garcia, saludos a todos de El Paso, Texas, donde equate for the second time in a year. And let me say this before I move along. Last week, somebody asked me, do they have earthquakes in Morelia? And the taxi driver that took me up to that mall I was showing earlier today, I asked her, Cynthia, do they have earthquakes here in Spanish? And she says, no. She said, that would be super rare to have an earthquake here. Whatever. Now, I changed it back to Gulf of Mexico. Very good. Bill the Geek is a living legend. Well, let me say that. Thank you so much. Let me say this. I've taken a lot of chances in life doing what I want to do, taking chances, doing things that other people wouldn't want to do. Is like, a lot of people, what's the sure way to do things? When I was a kid, if you become a doctor, a lawyer, or if you work for a corporation your entire life and then retire, when you hit 65, then you retire. You do something for sure. You never leave the community where you grew up. So I've taken a lot of chances, and I just kind of follow my heart. I've been married to white women, black women, Mexican women. I don't care what people say. I was involved in a $1 billion whistleblowing incident where I thought that the corporation was going to kill me for sure. My father told me not to do it. My best friends told me don't mess with the corporation, but I did it and I won. I do things because I think it's the right thing to do. And for me, what I'm trying to say is that I don't have lawyer money. I don't have doctor money. I know some people living in Mexico, they were like the 13th employee of Starbucks. So I swear to God, man. Now they're like super millionaires. Really? I just follow my heart and I do what I think is right. And life has been good to me. Okay, there you go. Now, thank you for your story, Bill. You're a very interesting person. Thank you very much. Okay, now, Oscar one. Ola, does the YouTube money give you enough to be comfortable in Mexico, or did you have other incomes and saving? It's a mixture. I've got a combo thing going on here. YouTube. This is my 4th year with YouTube. But see, so my income, YouTube pays my rent. You guys pay my rent when you contribute. But I get money from various book, being an author, illustrator. So I make some money off writing books. I haven't written a book in about 5 years. I get money from Amazon and other sources every month. Tomorrow, I teach a computer class with a client that I've had for 12 years, a really wealthy guy in Orlando, Florida. He's been paying me to teach him computer graphics for 12 years. So I'll make money off him tomorrow. Get some Social Security. I don't spend all my money. So it's a mixed bag. So my income is a mixed bag, but it works. Yeah. Now, I must say, my dad worked for the federal government, and he died like 12 years ago, and I lived with him for 4 months when he was dying. Then he died. I'm a guy, whatever. But when he died, he was retired, and he was making $9,000 a month. And when he died, he didn't have any money in the bank. How do you he owned his home. How do you, I mean, to this day, I'm trying to figure out, Dad, what were you doing with that $9,000? You're making $9,000 a month. Where's the money, Dad? Whatever, man. I don't know. Marilyn Peoples, thank you so much for figuring out how to contribute to the channel and actually doing it. Muy bueno. Jesus Manuel Mena Garza. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto. Golf of Bill the Geek. There you go. That's what you do. Golf of Bill the Geek. That's the best idea I've heard in my entire life. Angela Morris, living by faith or courageously is something. Thank you, Angela Morris. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hola, Luisa and Michael. I love you guys. I watch you two vegan in Mexico channel since I am vegan for almost 26 years. Tooth Fairy is not vegan. She tells people she's vegan, but as soon as this show goes down, she got spare ribs and she got grease from spare ribs dripping all down her mouth and everything. Cheeseburgers from cows and pigs. Yeah, Tooth Fairy. Ray Garcia Charity. He was giving person. Thank you very much. Now, 9,000 a month. I could live at, 9,000 a month. Where did his money go now? There you go. And I'm not rich, but a little money over here, a little money over there, it works out. And thank you very much. Running is my machine. Thank you very much. Thank you very Marco. Hola, everyone. Late, but now here, Marco. So much. Marco's family is from Morelia. His parents moved to the United States. I think Marco was born in the Chicago area. Very well-educated family. Marco is very successful. And I met Marco, so to speak, about 6 months ago. I interviewed him a couple of times for this channel. And Marco gave me a list of places to visit around Morelia. And Marco, I got to say, I've visited almost every spot that you gave me. And I thank you so much, Marco. Rudy Clemens, we were just talking about you a few minutes ago. Some guy from Canada was saying that his wife was resistant about moving to Mexico. And I told everybody here how reluctant you were to move to Mexico. But you did, and now you love it very much. And Rudy tells Sheila I said hello. Lenora Wilson. Bill, have you thought about taking the books you publish and putting them on Audible, having your books narrated? I have. That's another, Lenora Wilson, that's another source of income. I have books on audible.com. I make money from them every month. Now, I have some books under the name of Bill the Geek. Bill, that's one of my pen names, but I only have like 3 books under Bill the Geek. I have like 300 books on Amazon, but some of them are how-to books, some of them are romance books, some of them are romantic books, and I never tell anybody the pen names for that. Multiple wives goes away. Okay. Hola, Tooth Fairy. Thanks for watching. We're now on our new channel, Retired Life Mexico. We'd love to see you there. There you go. Yes. How many pesos does a cup of coffee go for in Morelia? I'm going to say right now, I have no clue. I make my coffee at home. I make fresh coffee every morning. Okay, now, but before I go, I still have a few video clips I have a few, not very many, but we were visiting. Here we go. We were visiting this mall. I'm just going to back up maybe 5 more video clips. We were visiting this mall. And this is my favorite grocery store right now in Morelia. And I saw those buildings over there at the top. And I asked a taxi driver, where is that? How do I get there? And he told me the name of this place was, and I could see Sears. It's hard to see in this video, but the red letters in the middle left-hand side of that building, it says Sears. And Cynthia, the taxi driver, said, that's Alto Zona. So I got a taxi and went up there, and I only have like 5 more videos here. So I'm up here walking around. They have, and again, this is Tuesday or Wednesday at maybe 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock in the morning. Not too many people there, of course. A movie theater. You can see the movies that they were playing. Here we go. Here we're walking, or I'm walking to the edge of this facility to see the view of all of Morelia. I could even see my apartment from here. I could see La Comer from here. I could see El Centro from here. Beautiful, beautiful views. And I found a very, very nice grocery store up there that was eccentric and very different. And I think I'm going to go to this place maybe once a month to go to the grocery store. It only cost me $2.50 to get there. It's a beautiful drive, a beautiful place. And they had a bunch of beautiful women shopping there also. And we go back inside of the facility. It's 3 or 4 stories, extremely modern car dealerships of exotic cars. So if you go in there, you can buy some eggs and some milk and maybe pick up a brand new car on the way out. That's my kind of place. Yeah, in fact, when I go back next time, I think I'm going to buy a car. You know, I'm going to get some Fahrenheit cologne, maybe some Dom Perignon, maybe get some cheeseburgers somewhere and buy a new car. That's what I'm going to do. Also, if you have phone service in Mexico, through Telcel, this place has a Telcel office. That's very important. So I can take care of my phone stuff there, and they have a Mac store. I buy my Macs. I'm a Mac man. Some people think I'm a soul man. I'm not a soul man. I'm a Mac man. I have a brand new PowerBook Mac. It's fabulous. I have a desktop Mac. My phone is an iPhone. And here is and it's nice to know where I can go buy my Mac stuff. And here is the BYD, the Chinese electronic car manufacturer. There you go, right there. This is the Chinese electronic vehicle manufacturer internationally. You can go buy one of these brand new right inside. That's where I live in Mexico. I live in Mexico. Brian Maiden, thanks for joining us. Thank you for contributing to the channel. Thanks for saying hello. Shirley, hi, Retired Life in Mexico. I watch your channel. Sure, just show up on Saturdays, Retired Life Mexico. I assume the movies are in Spanish. That didn't used to be the case. Years and years ago, most of the movies were in English with Spanish subtitles. Now I'm seeing a lot more of the theaters with the movies are in Spanish. Many theaters, you can see them either way. You can see them in Spanish or in English, and they'll have signs that say, "Okay, this movie is in English at 3:00, but it's over here at 4:00 in Spanish," so you can get it both ways. I'm considering a move to Loreto, Baja. Then again, Oaxaca, Puebla, or Querétaro have their appeal. Definitely not Mexico City. I was just down there, way too smoggy, my lungs. Hated it. Very good. Yeah, just look around, see what floats your boat. I've been to Mexico City 2 times. I've been to New York City 1,000,000 times. Mexico City reminds me too much of New York City. I don't want to live with millions and millions and millions of people. So I'm very happy here in Morelia. It's some guy in my neighborhood who's a Mexican. He lived in Mexico City, and he's a Mexican, lived in Mexico City. He moved here to Morelia, and he said, Morelia, though it has 1,000,000 people, it still has a town mentality. So I like that. There is no stores like this in Winnipeg. This place looks amazing. Brian, come on down. Hook up with Rosie. Get your paperwork done. Have a good time. Hi, Shirley W. Glad you're watching. Thanks. Tooth Fairy. Okay, I'll find your channel and subscribe. Retired Life Mexico. No. I don't know. Okay, you guys. Okay, here we go. Let me write that down. Let me write down Retired Life Mexico. I will look you guys up. Okay, here we go. All right, you guys. Woo! Let me check my notes and see what I missed. Did we get okay. I still have a couple of things to say. Okay, so I did a video on what kind of money to carry around in Mexico, and I think it's really important. Carry change. 5 pesos, 10 pesos, 2 pesos, carry a couple of dollars in change like that. Then carry Mexico bills, 20 pesos, 50 pesos, 100 pesos, 200 pesos. Carry one of each of those. Then also carry around 500 peso. So I'm going to the store. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to have like 1,000 pesos. I'm going to have a 500 peso bill, a 200, a 100, a 500. And okay, so 500 pesos, 500. Oh, look here. Listen, Rosie says, thank you. God bless you. Listen here, Henry. God bless Rosie. Oh, Rosie's fabulous. Okay, now 500 pesos is like $25. Okay, but if you go to the money machine and take money out, it's mostly going to come out in 500 peso bills. So if you go somewhere to spend that, I got a little technical problem going on over here. There we go. We're back over here. Okay, we're back. Sorry, I had a little technical on the other computer, but I'm just saying. So if you go to OXXO, you buy like a Coca-Cola and some Twinkies or something, and you give them like a 500 peso bill, which is only $25. The people freak out. It's like, what? You're giving me $25? You give me it's five. So, I mean, they freak out. So I'm telling you, I've made videos about it. Carry some change. And then you're going to go somewhere and your bill's going to come to like 304 pesos. You're in a grocery store. They're going to ask you, do you have 4 pesos? I mean, the bill is 304 pesos. And they're going to ask you, do you have 4 pesos? Well, because if you have the 4 pesos, maybe, it's like you're going to give them 500. But if you can give them 504 pesos, then they can give you back 200 pesos. Okay. But you're in a grocery store. You got $1 million in here. You can't count the change. You don't have change for $25. I'm telling you, man, carry change when you're in Mexico, or it can just ruin your freaking life. Okay, that's on my list. I think I got one more thing on my list. Okay. Oh, right now we have a water shortage in Morelia. Now, what does that mean? I don't understand what it is, but Mexico, every neighborhood is a colonia. And I live in a colonia. And they say that there are 40 colonias in Morelia that have a water shortage right now. So they ask you to reduce your water usage. Whatever that means, but whatever. Okay. I got to go there. Let me take a screenshot of that. What about using a credit card? I leave the only time that I use any plastic is when I'm going to make a major purchase. Sometimes I'll use plastic at a grocery store if I'm going to make big grocery shopping. But most of the time I leave my plastic at home and I only carry cash. Okay, now here we go. Have a great weekend. Adios, Jamie. And with that, you guys, I'm getting ready to get out of here. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I will have more clips for you next week. If you're new here and you're not a subscriber, think about clicking that subscribe button. On your way out, click the like button. And thank you for joining you. Thank me. Who am I thanking? I thank you for joining us today. Temple Moore. So sorry I wasn't here earlier, Bill. We'll catch the replay. Hope all y'all are well. Our 6-month timeline is now activated. Cool. We're thinking about a trip to check out Morelia. I love it here. My American Express only, local cash. Hasta luego, Vlad. Kimberly, you're very welcome, Kimberly. So I'm out of here. I'm getting ready to head to the grocery store, buy some stuff. We will be back. We are here every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time. I am Bill the Geek, broadcasting live from Morelia, Mexico. This is the Bill Dallas Lewis channel. We make presentations about the joys of living in Mexico. So I want to say love you all this day after Valentine's Day. And all I can say is adios. And I'll tell you hasta luego. And finally, I just want to share with each and every one, que te vaya bien. Love you. Have a great Saturday. Bye.